right, so I'm gonna try to go through all of the items I have today, and then I apologize for my back too, if you guys want to scooch up, feel free. Otherwise, you can look at my giant laps. So I'm gonna try to go through all the items today that I have. So try and save your questions to the end. That way, we'll get through all the topics, we'll get through the challenge of the week, and then we'll go to questions. So today the topic was workout versus rest day. I kind of expanded upon it because honestly there's not much to say. A lot of people want there to be something to say about workout versus rest days, but there's literally minimal information that I need to give you for you to be successful. So a lot of you have different macros for your workout day versus your rest day. The reason being is because you do CrossFit, and so CrossFit is a high intensity sport which requires excess carbohydrates for the work that you do. If you are someone who is just lightly active, going to do the elliptical every day, maybe lifting some light weights, but never really going to that high intensity, we may never need to have this conversation. And for some of you who I didn't adjust your macros for workout rest day, it's just because I'm trying to get you at a norm and a consistency before we go down that rabbit hole. So what is considered a workout day? It really depends, but if we're generally speaking, it's where you're moving at an increased heart rate for over 30 minutes. And if you have a heart rate monitor, so if you're one that actually tracks, we're going to look at above 50 to 85% of your max heart rate. For everyone, it's going to be a little different, just depending on your health, depending on your experience, and depending on if you do track your heart rate normally. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, that's okay. It's something that's above your conversational comfort zone. So you could hold a conversation, like I hold a conversation right now post-workout, it's still not comfortable, right? My heart rate is still not down to its resting heart rate. So I can't just, be like, hey Katie, how was your day, right? I'm still kind of like, yeah, so how's your day? Okay, right? That's a little bit above our comfort zone. So that's what we're classifying as a workout day. Also, if you're just doing it for 2 minutes, say all you did was Fran, you didn't warm up, you didn't cool down, you did nothing else all day, then 2 minutes of working out, even at high intensity, really we can't classify that as a workout day for macros. It's just not enough movement. That being said, there's a ton of variables, so that's very generalized. And then we can go the opposite and say, what's a rest day? So rest day is no intense exercise, it's minimal activity, you're vegging on the couch. It was my Sunday yesterday. All I did activity-wise was go to the grocery store, which sometimes on a Sunday is going into battle, but I never really got out of breath. I never had to, move anything, lift anything, run, race, try to get the last piece of bacon, anything like that. So it's your heart rate's never elevated for a sustained period of time. So for example, my weekend this weekend, I was going to use that as a good example, is I hiked on Saturday. I never did anything intensely. I didn't do Fran, I didn't pick up a barbell, but I was moving at a sustained pace for a long period of time. That I would consider a workout day. Yesterday, I went to the grocery store and I literally did nothing else. That's a rest day. So those are extremes. Today I would consider myself a workout day. I came to the whole hour. I participated in the warm-up, the workout, the cool down, and anything else in between, working my mouth and talking. So that was a workout day for me. Now, personally, I change my macros for my workout day and my rest day. I've been doing this a long time. I can tell when I'm hungry. I can tell when I've worked out to the point of needing more carbs in my diet. You may not be at that point yet, which is why we may have given you those macros. We may have also not given you those macros because we're just trying to get you at a normal, sustained level. So that's the difference between workout and rest day. It can be incredibly confusing, but if all you remember is that on workout days, I eat a little bit more carbohydrates to fuel my high intense workout, then you're on a better page than you were at the start of all of this. So for most people, that's about 20 to 60 grams of carbohydrate extra, and that's really generalizing. Because if you take a CrossFit Games athlete, they probably need upwards of 100 or 200 grams extra of carbohydrate per day. So none of us are on that level. If you are, come talk to me, and that's something new I'm learning. But like me, I probably have an extra 30 to 40 grams of carbohydrates in my workout days. But everyone's going to be completely different depending on how they're feeling. Protein and fat normally stay the same. Sometimes we'll bump up the fat a little bit and bring down the carbohydrate a little bit, but for the most part, protein and fat stay the same unless we're looking for improved performance above the norm. So if you're looking to compete in an Ironman, if you're looking to compete in regionals or even compete competitively in the open. So we're going a little bit more above and beyond the norm. So Jeremy actually touched on this. He said, how do we change the macros? So, Colleen asked if we had to weigh ourselves weekly. We do not, that's not a requirement. However, if you have talked to your coach and you found that that was a good accountability mechanism and it's something that you want to do weekly, I highly encourage it. If you think that it's completely detrimental to your progress with your health, there's no need for it in this challenge. So, how to change your macros. Jeremy asked if my weight changes, do I change my macros? So, I recommend macros based on your activity level, your weight, and your goals. There's a whole host of other things that we take into consideration, but those are my 3 things that I kind of always come back to, is your activity, your weight, and your goals. For some people, a steady macro level is really all we need for weight loss. And over 5 weeks, if you think about the grand scheme of things in your life, 5 weeks is really not all that much time, right? None of us were born yesterday, right? If you were, it's a miracle. But we weren't born yesterday, so 5 weeks is just a blip on the map. So for a lot of you, if we start changing things aggressively, because we're like, oh, we lost 5 pounds, we're now gonna change this and that, your body might not respond. Consistency is key. I think I've said that pretty much every week here. Consistency is key. So those 3 things, activity, weight, and goals. If you find that your activity changes significantly from the beginning of this challenge to now to the end, so if all of a sudden you decided that you were going to run, you were going to do an elite Spartan race or an Ironman race, or you were going to compete in some competition CrossFit wise, okay, then maybe we need to increase your amount of macros. Or complete opposite, maybe you were training for something at the beginning of this and now you've backed off, you've added more rest days, maybe we need to back off on some macros. That's the only time in these 5 weeks that I'm going to recommend you change your macros for activity. Weight. If you lose weight, it's possible that your basal metabolic rate will go down. That's basically what you need to live, breathe, move, function, your organs to do all their jobs within your body, for you to respirate, for you to sleep, for you to recover. It may go down if you lose weight, especially if you lose some body fat percentage in there, but it's unlikely that if you're going to lose enough weight in the first few weeks here that it's going to make that big of a difference. If you're losing an excessive amount of weight, chances are we missed the mark on your macros, you're not going to be able to sustain it. So, come to your coach. You have us, you know our numbers, our Facebooks, our social security numbers and everything by now. Come to us, ask us, should I be changing this? I'm not feeling energized, I'm not feeling like I'm losing weight, I'm feeling this, that, the other thing, and we can kind of guide you on that. And then finally, goals. If your goals change at all throughout this 5 weeks, let us know. So some people, there's kind of 2 goals that we've seen across the board, and that's either lose weight or improve performance. For a lot of you, it's both. But for some of you, it's just one or the other. If I just really want to lose weight or I just really want to gain performance, I'm not worried about the other. And that's where if you find that, you know what, I lost those 5 pounds I was looking to lose, and now I want to focus on performance, that's when things need to change. So if you're kind of staying with the goals that you had in mind in the beginning, then I'm going to ask you to be consistent as possible and stay on the path that we recommend for you. So that's kind of talking about how to change macros. One of my things I probably always say as a practitioner is it depends. Each person's very different. So you have full access to us, use us. So if you're concerned about anything, feel free to reach out to any of us and say, I'm really concerned about my numbers, or I'm concerned about my goals, or this, that, the other thing, I just want to run this by you. So that's how we work on changing macros, if at all. But once again, 5 weeks is just a blip on the map. So take that into consideration, be consistent, give this your all, and that way we can see at the 5 weeks, did this work, did it not? Let's go back to the drawing board and reset. I need to breathe, it's fine. Timing. So a lot of people ask about timing. And so I touched on this, I think, last week, if not the first week. And timing based on when should I eat, when should I have my most macros, when should I have my protein and carbs. Once again, it depends, but research does suggest that the total amount of protein and carbs you eat over the course of the day is actually more important for body composition and performance than the actual timing. So that means it's more important that you hit your macros throughout the day than it is to when you eat them throughout the day. So if you're concerned about timing, but you're not doing a great job of hitting your macros to begin with, then timing is really not your problem. Your problem is actually hitting the macros and eating the food that we're asking you to eat. It's most important for those who work out more than once a day. So for your elite athletes, for those who are doing 2 a days, for maybe those who run and lift, but do so 2 separate times. And this is important because within normally an 8 to 12 hour period, it's not enough time to refuel and recharge your body stores. And so this is when it's important that you time your meals appropriately. If you're just doing 1 workout a day, you have a lot more leeway than the person who's doing more than 1 workout in a day. So if you're doing more than 1 workout, please let your coach know so we can help you time accordingly. We may also encourage you not to do more than 1 workout in a day, and that's not because we don't want you to get better, it's because we want you to chill out. Timing. The other thing that I say, so research is still out on this, but I think timing is incredibly important for you morning people, and the reason is because you're going into a morning workout fasted, and some people don't do well with a fasted workout. So some people cannot wake up and just go ham sandwich on,
Turkey sandwich.
Can't go turkey sandwich on, how about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Sure.
Yes. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich on a 5:30 a.m. Fran workout, right? Some people need fuel. So for them, timing might be incredibly important. They may need to adjust when they're going to bed so that they can wake up that extra half hour so that they can eat prior to working out. So fasted workouts are okay, but for my morning people, right, it might be a little bit more key for you to start playing around. Whereas the afternoon people, you have the whole day to figure it out, right? You can kind of figure out, do I need 2 hours before I work out? Can I eat something half hour? Can I eat something while I'm working out? You kind of have the whole day to play around with, and I'm not so concerned about you. Whereas the morning people tend to be playing catch up all day long. And it's because they don't have the time in the morning to eat before they work out, and then after they work out, they're running, showering, getting ready, not eating a full breakfast, and then it's already lunch, and they haven't hit like a single macro. So that tends to be the only other group of people that I say timing is incredibly important. So I also have a note here to tell you that the best timing in the world won't make up for a poor diet of poor macros. So you can try to get every timing down, but if you're still eating crap and not the right amount, sorry, it's not magic. It does all depend, so I recommend if you're someone who's like, you know, I'm not feeling great in my workouts, I'm still not quite having the energy that I want, start tracking how you're feeling. So right now you're tracking the numbers, continue to do that. Start tracking on workout days how you feel, right? Am I feeling great after the workout, or do I feel really run down halfway through the workout? Am I feeling that halfway through the day I can't function? Maybe there's something else that we're missing, maybe there is some timing, maybe there is some, you know, rest and recovery that we need. What's going on up there? Those people, I know them. Look how, he looks way happier out there than when he's in here.
He's supposed to be in here?
Yeah, 100%. He's got to go ready and be, he's got his costume ready for tomorrow. Can't handle him. Okay, so that, thinking about all of that, thinking about workout day, rest day, timing, your macros, all of that, what to focus on. So this is in order for this challenge, so it might change post-challenge the order of operations here. Many people want to blame timing, differences in workout rest days, on why they're not succeeding, but this is the kind of the list of what I want you to focus on before all of that. So, step 1, how much am I eating? Am I hitting my goal? Am I being consistent? Am I eating consistently throughout the week and the weekend? Or do I find that on the weekend I go completely awry and I'm very strict on the weekday? We need to switch that. So, how much am I eating? What are you eating? So we haven't touched much on this, so I've been seeing some pizza and donuts and cookies and all those things, and I'm okay with that because this is a macro challenge. But if you're, what? I'm always looking.
At Shatter, that's all
At
they
Shatter,
have,
we
so-
had that competition, so we had donuts and cookies.
Right, and so here's the thing.
Post-workout.
It can fit in your macros, but that's okay, right? Saturday, that happens to be the day that you decide, I'm gonna have donuts, I'm gonna have a cake, whatever it is, Saturday's my day, fine. But if you do it every day, and you try to cheat the system every day, my guess is you're not gonna reach the goals that you're looking for. So, be honest with yourself, how much am I eating? And then what I'm eating, within how much I'm eating, how and why are you eating? So this is another layer of this onion that we have not dug into, but how are you eating? Are you eating hurried and in a rush at your desk? Are you eating in the car? Are you eating so fast that you're not actually allowing yourself to digest and enjoy it? A lot of us tend to do that. We rush through our day. We don't actually sit down and eat and enjoy our food. You can take 10 minutes every meal. Tyler, uh-oh. Anyway, found someone who does that. We all do it. To be fair, we all do it. We all don't sit down and eat. We all eat in the car. We all eat while having a conversation and on our phone and watching the news, right? Instead, we need to take 10 minutes per meal. That's it. That's all I'm asking. That's half hour a day for most of you who eat 3 meals a day. That you're just eating. You're dedicating your time to eating, chewing your food, enjoying your food, right? That's the other layer. Why are you eating, right? Why are you eating? Are you hungry or not hungry? That's literally the only reason you normally need to eat. If you're eating because you're bored, sad, tired, upset, stressed, right? Why are you eating? Figure that out. And then, are you being consistent with all the above? If you're not being consistent, but you keep asking me when I should eat, then we have a problem. You're not looking at how much you're eating, you're not looking at what you're eating, and you're not looking at how or why you're eating. So, only then, when you're consistent, and you're still not reaching your goals, or you're still not completely dialed in, is when you can ask me, when am I eating? Cool? Excellent. Wake up, Diana.
What am I eating?
What are you eating?
That's a good question.
Are you eating enough? Okay, so then I'm going to touch on 2 kind of hot topic areas right now. The first is protein and the second is weekends. These are probably the 2 biggest sticking points that we have heard throughout the entire challenge. And I just want you all to know you're not alone, and the coaches also feel the same way as you. So don't think that we're superhuman and we're able to hit our protein goal every day and that we're able to get through weekends unscathed, right? We go through the exact same life that you go through. We just have to figure out what works and what doesn't. So the first one, protein. How many people here, you don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to, are struggling with this? Yeah, right? Most of us. I'm with you. I'm in that boat. And why? Well, because protein is probably the least convenient food of your macros, right? Everyone here can think of some carbohydrate that's in their pantry that they can go home and crush right now, right? I know I can. Same with fat, right? All of us can go home and crush carbs and fat. We normally can't go crush protein unless it's made for us or prepackaged for us, or we can go eat it out. So it's not as convenient. You can't normally grab and go. It doesn't mean you can't find ways to make it grab and go, but you normally don't have it in your closet, in the vending machine, at work, at Starbucks, right? It's not easy to find the protein. So let's think about why we need protein. So a lot of you are like, this is so much protein, oh my God, I don't know why I need all this protein. So, protein is essential for muscle repair and growth. Who here likes to work out? Yeah, right? All of you damage your muscles some way, shape, or form.
She makes me come.
She makes me do it.
Well, I'm fine. It's because she loves you. Okay, so
She wants me to look good.
honestly, you have a lot more squat, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Anytime, I got you. Okay, so it's essential for muscle repair and growth. So all of us work out, all of us like to work out, all of us want to see some type of performance gain. Whether it's just that they want to lift a little bit heavier or they want to be able to do a gymnastic movements a little easier, all of us want this. So protein is essential for this. It does keep you satisfied. So if you think about, a bowl of cereal versus a piece of steak. If you don't eat steak, think about, your favorite rice and bean dish or tempeh, whatever you like to eat. Think about those 2 foods. Chances are your cereal is not going to keep you nearly as full and satisfied as the other protein-rich food. If it does, you're probably eating a lot of cereal. It does not spike your blood sugar the way that carbohydrates do. So that means you get to ride this nice high all day long as opposed to riding this crazy roller coaster of the hanger monster with your carbohydrates, right? We've all been there at 2 o'clock when our boss asks us for something and we just want to rip his head off, her head off. I don't know who she is, he is. Also, this is a fun science tip for those of you who like science. Protein has a higher thermic effect of food. So it means you actually burn more energy and more calories per gram of protein than you do carbs or fat. This does not mean you can now switch your diet to 100% protein, but it does give you a little tidbit of information that if you're looking to lose weight, protein is the way to go. Just a little fun fact if you like the fun facts. It helps to cut cravings. It's actually been shown in research to do so, and a lot of other reasons. So protein is what we all need in our diet, and we all need to work on getting to our goal. So what to eat? I could go on forever and ever, but this is the list that I've been sending out to most people who ask. Meat, fish, eggs, jerky, meat sticks, protein shakes, protein bars, cheese, cheese sticks, nuts, seeds, nut seed butters, beans, my favorite are chickpeas, black beans, and lentils, but all others are okay. Hemp hearts, quinoa, edamame, if you have no idea what those words are, don't worry. Yogurt, mainly Greek. We actually sell MoPro here. They have 24 grams of protein per Greek yogurt, which for those of you who like Greek yogurt and are having trouble hitting your goal, it's a great option. Fuel for fire, cottage cheese, oats, protein balls, homemade preferably, hummus, rice, especially on workout days, and all of their veggies, they happen to have a trace amount of protein in them. I have some favorite protein bars on here. My favorite, the top one, I'm not a fan of protein bars in general, but I'm saying if you like protein bars and need them as a convenient food every once in a while, Quest bars. Quest bars have 20 grams of protein per bar. RX bar has 12 grams, Fuel for Fire has 10 to 12, Rise bars have 15 grams. I'm actually gonna have a 30% off coupon for you shortly, so and Go Macro bars have 10 to 11, the No Cow bars have 20 grams, and the Health Warrior have 10 grams. So these are not things that you should be having every day, but they're certainly great if you lead a busy life and you need something to grab and go. These have a high percentage of protein per bite, which is nice to have on hand. I hope she doesn't mind, I'm gonna use Kelsey as an example. Kelsey has a new job right now, and she's in the car all the time. So she's in sales, and so she has to be in her car almost every day, 24/7, and so she was finding that she wasn't able to get enough food in her diet, and so we found some bars that she now keeps in her car. It's a good time of year for it too, because it's not gonna be hot, and that's when she uses it as kind of a last resort. So she packed lunch, but she all of a sudden can't go home between her job and her workout. She grabs the bar, and now she knows that she's hitting 20 grams or so of protein. So that's protein, that's my stick on it. It's okay that you're not hitting it every day. We're just gonna try a little harder every day. The second topic that's been a hot topic is weekends. So all of us struggle on weekends. It's normal, we normally let our guard down. If you're someone who doesn't have a typical weekend, think about your off day. Maybe it's Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever day it might be throughout the week. I urge you to plan ahead. So all of you did awesome jobs sharing your grocery list, your meal planning list. We got to see exactly what you were doing for the week. How many of you kind of put like a question mark or to be determined on Saturday, Sunday? Right? Some of us kind of do that. Maybe not, maybe. Or we say, okay, I'm gonna plan, but in the back of my mind, I know that if the party comes up or the drinks come up, it's okay if I don't eat that. Right? We kind of give ourselves that outlet. So plan ahead. And it's okay that this planning ahead includes, drinks with friends, dessert, out, dinner out, whatever it might be. It's okay that your plans include that. And don't feel like you have to plan the Sunday before. I actually told someone today, I want your plan for the weekend by Thursday. That way on Thursday, you kind of have an idea of what's going on. Make a new plan. So maybe you plan on Sunday for Sunday night on to Thursday, and then on Thursday you plan again for the rest of the weekend. That way you can plan for the barbells for boobs and having, some donuts. Plan for the ice cream, plan for the drinks, whatever it is, plan. And that way, you don't feel so much like you're cheating it or that you're going so far off track that you can't make it back. If you have something that you know is coming up, like perhaps you're going to your favorite restaurant, you can Google or even MyFitnessPal your favorite meal, plug it into MyFitnessPal, and then you know what you're getting yourself into. You know that, okay, I'm going crazy tonight. And I know that I'm gonna have 2 glasses of wine and some chips and salsa, and you know what, I need that. That's just what I need, and that's fine. I'm not gonna tell you don't need that. But then your breakfast and lunch should not also be complete throwaways, right? Perhaps you say, okay, I'm gonna plug this all into MyFitnessPal. Now lunch is a nice light salad, breakfast is perhaps some eggs and a smoothie, and that way I don't completely throw myself off down the stairs. Also, keep easy grab-and-go options. What I heard from some other people is that they're at home, but they're doing, they're running errands, they're doing chores around the house, they're cleaning up yard work, whatever it might be. They're doing things around the house, and they don't feel like making a meal. So they just grab and go what the kids have. I don't know why we all keep junk food for the kids, thinking we're not gonna eat it. We're gonna eat it. So I have a few options for this. One is don't bring them into the house. I know a lot of people are like, there's no way I can do that with kids. You can, but perhaps have a weekly outing. Like my family, we used to go get ice cream every Friday, and that was fun for us kids, and that's when we figured that's when you eat out. That's when you have a treat. Or if you're really trying, if you're like, this junk food is my kryptonite, put it on a shelf and have that shelf hands off. You are not allowed to touch that. That is only for your kids and your husband or your wife or whoever you don't really care about, right? That's their shelf. You cannot touch that shelf. You are not eating off that shelf. You have willpower. And then create your own shelf and put some snacks that are grab and go for you. Things that you know will fit in your macros, things that, I don't care if it's a Reese's cup, but maybe it's not the entire bag of Reese's cups. I'm looking at you, Brian Yoving. He's not gonna watch this anymore. And then the other thing I'm gonna recommend is finding an accountability buddy. So that might be a built-in spouse, it might be a roommate, it might be a friend, it might be someone within this challenge, just someone maybe that's not your spouse, but someone that you know will call you out and keep you accountable. Maybe it's the coach. We don't care if you text us on the middle of a Saturday and say, oh my God, I'm about to eat 10 donuts, what do you recommend? Right? I'll say 10 might be an excessive. Let's do 2 and call it a day. So finding that accountability system and use them, rely on them, talk to them. Maybe it's a Facebook group, right? I mean, it's whatever you need and feel most comfortable with. You know how you best function. But if you're hiding and then all of a sudden you feel like you have to repent for all your sins, that's not gonna help anybody, right? We all just feel bad for you and wish we could have helped you. Instead, reach out the second it's happening and then we can figure out a plan as it's happening. So, those are all the topics, hold your questions. I'm now gonna go over week 3 challenges and I actually have a few bonuses for you because I couldn't decide on the challenges. So, everyone ready? Drum roll please. Week 3 challenge, and this is the 2-point challenge. This is the point, you only get 2 points total. I will create an event for it. Do you guys like the event? I thought that was a nice place to house all of it. Some of you have like no idea what that is. So Kevin McKay had us make an event, which I thought was really cool. So that way you can go to each event and actually see everything. And then our page is actually just for you to kind of go in. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Just email us. Week 3 challenge for 2 points. You're gonna share your favorite pre or post workout food or snack. And ideally, this pre or post workout food is greater than 15 grams. It does not have to be. All you have to do is share your favorite pre or post workout food.
15 grams of what?
Protein. Did I not say that? Sorry. 15 grams of protein. Ideally, it does not have to. So for example, right now I'm having a protein shake. There's about 22 grams of protein in that. I like the SFH churro protein. That's just my preference. And I could share that and that would be okay. If it's a meal, so perhaps when you go home from a workout, the first thing you eat is a meal, fine, share that. It doesn't matter, it can be a random day of the week. It can be something that you've never had before, but you thought it would be cool to share. So something pre or post workout, and ideally more than 15 grams. The reason I'm asking for the grams of protein, more than 15 grams, is because a lot of people are struggling. So if they can see something that you've put together, I'm hopeful that it'll help others feel the same way. Also, week 2 challenge, we'll combine all the things that we've seen and we've liked, and we'll go ahead and put it in a Google Doc. That way those who don't have Facebook can also benefit from it. So that's your week 3 challenge. The week 3 bonuses. I'm sorry. The bonuses, these are not mandatory. I mean, the challenge isn't either, but this is just for you to win points. You can send, just like last week, this week we're asking you to send your weekly meal plan, but it needs to include your weekend plan. So it's okay if you just want to show us your weekend plan, so if that's separate from your normal plan. The reason I'm asking this is I kind of want to build from what you did last week. I think you all had a really good exercise of planning your week ahead. So I want you to continue that, but you'll get a bonus point if you include your Friday through Sunday and showing us what the weekend plans look like. Then, if you can prove to your coach by Monday or Tuesday at 5:30 a.m. that you stayed on track and you went with what plans you showed us, you'll get an additional 3 points. So you don't have to post that to the group, but send it to your coach, text, email, whatever. If you can prove by next Monday that you did indeed stay on track within reason, and your coach has the discretion there. And what I mean by within reason is, say that you said, okay, on Friday night I'm going out with friends, I'm probably gonna have a glass of wine and a burger, and then it ends up that you had two glasses of wine and a burger. You're staying pretty on track. Now, if you said, okay, then there were 3 shots and a few tequila things in there, and all of a sudden I went down this rabbit hole, okay, that's not staying on track. Cool? So within reason, staying on track, to me, that's like 75% on track. Okay? So I think that's pretty good. So if you're keeping track, that's 2 points for the challenge, 1 point for including your weekend plans and sharing, 3 points for staying on track, so that's 6 points. Yeah. Now, this is a challenge, and I know it's gonna be difficult, and bear with me for questions because I'm going to answer some, I think. You can receive a point daily for coming within 5 grams of your protein goal. So that's up to 7 extra bonus points or coming within 5 grams. Now, the caveat, is that how you say that? That's not the way too proper, is if you're someone who's struggling to hit your protein goal. So say your protein goal is 100 grams, but the best you've done is 80. We're not expecting you to hit 100. Talk to your coach and ask them what they think you should be 5 grams within. So perhaps that person who was getting 80 grams but needed 100, perhaps for them, we're looking for 75 grams every day within up or down 5 points. That way we can be realistic, because I also don't want to say, okay, your goal was 150 grams and you never came even close to it, but you weren't even in the first 2 weeks. I think that's a little ridiculous. So we're not trying to be unrealistic, I guess is the word. We want you to try to hit those protein goals, and we want to try to help you. So even if we can just take your best day and try to get within 5 points every day, that's what we're trying to hit. So, how many points? 13 total points that we could accumulate this week. So, yes, it's all going to be in an email. We'll share it. Don't worry. I will send out. I'll be sending out an email probably tomorrow morning to my group, but I'll make sure that they send it along too. So that is 13 total extra points that you could be receiving, and that is on top of you tracking. So you're still getting your weekly check-in points, and you're still getting your daily tracking goal or tracking points. Yes.
Can you send those list of protein things?
Yes. I can send most of this. So a lot of this I think might have been helpful, hopefully. So I can send a lot of this in a, I'll just send it to Chad and Karen, and then they can send it to, if you're in my group, you'll get from me, but everyone else will get from their coaches. So that's it. Next week we're talking about eating out on special occasions, and don't forget that we have a 4-year anniversary party Friday, November 17th, and the winners will be announced that night. That's it for me. Otherwise, questions?
So is there a different calorie need for someone of my age versus someone much younger than me?
Yes. So age is taken into consideration when we figure out your macros.
Okay.
So, question, asked if age had anything to do with your macros. Yes, they've already been taken into consideration. If you're still concerned, talk to your coach, but yes. When we figure out your basal metabolic rate, that actually includes your age. So basal metabolic rate is basically just what you need to live, breathe, move, function, organ function, and that changes with age.
I'm curious from everybody's input if, I feel like most of what I track, or a lot of what I track, is an estimation.
Yes.
I only know with reasonable accuracy what I've prepared for myself, but I'm not only eating throughout a day what I've prepared for myself. So I feel like when you talk about, oh, you should be getting within 10 grams, I'm like, that's the margin of error for my estimate. I have no idea. And so the whole imprecision of the measurement bothers me, because a lot of it's about get within 5, and then you had a challenge on those, like, all right, I could say my estimation is within 5, which.
And that's what we're looking for. So with macro counting and diet and lifestyle, good enough is actually what we're striving for. Perfection will just make you crazy, and can then lead us down to eating disorder pathways. So we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for good enough, and good enough for what your goals are. So, people probably have a ton of tips and tricks as to what they do. If you're looking for exact precision, it's weighing and measuring everything you eat, which I think makes life really boring and not enjoyable, so I don't recommend that. I recommend the estimation. And over time, you'll realize, like, am I estimating right? Am I all of a sudden gaining all this weight? Because perhaps I'm underestimating. But I would say, if you take the average of the week, you probably estimated correctly.
It's the potlucks that are the problem, and like it's just a plate of mixed stuff.
Yes, and at that point, you just have to kind of make a game time decision and say, okay, first off, I'm not gonna have 10 plates, I'm just gonna have 1. I'm gonna think about what I'm putting on my plate, so perhaps I'm having a chili that seems dense in, my potatoes and beans, so maybe I'm not also having the fries and the chips and everything else on top of that. So it's really just gotta be an eyeball, getting comfortable about, like, what's the chili like that I make at home, and then kind of using that as an estimate for what you're eating out, knowing that no 2 chilies are going to be the same, and no 2 portions of chili is ever going to be the same, because you might get a little bit more beans and a little less meat. It's hard to say, so you're just estimating, and that's okay.
Last week when I was at a conference, I took a picture of my plate, and then afterwards I went through item by item.
That's actually a great idea. So for those of you, they probably hear you because you're sitting right there, but that's a great idea. Take a picture of your food and then go one by one. Even send it to your coach, and maybe we can help you estimate it too. But that's a great idea. Excuse me. Any other questions from the room? Do we have any questions on there?
What happens if you blow your macros on the weekend? Literally.
So question is, what if I blow?
What's literally mean?
I literally blew my carb macros on Sunday.
Like out of the water?
Question is, what happens if I blow my macros out of the water? Yes, this happens, and this is what happens on weekends. The goal is to not get the F-its, right? Talk about the flash. It's not to say, well, F that, I'm just gonna keep going, right? That's what no supposed to do. We say, well, screw it, right? Might as well eat more donuts. Donuts are getting the hate mail today. It's because I saw donuts all over my Instagram feed all weekend. Yes. So the goal is to just, try to stay within reason. So perhaps you blew it on lunch, and then you're like, well, I'm still hungry. Okay, do your best at dinner to perhaps just make it a lower carb dinner. And know that you're not gonna hit your macros that day, but you're also not gonna then continue going. Because that's what normally happens is maybe we have a big brunch, and then all of a sudden we get lunch in there too, and then we go to dinner and we're like, uh-oh. Well, nobody's looking anyway, nobody cares, if I don't report it, nobody knows, and then I'll just eat whatever I want. And then maybe tomorrow I'll get back on track, right? We all do that with this spiral, this self-sabotage, this oh, well, screw it, doesn't matter. So I would say just do your best to get back on track at the next meal and not put yourself in this guilt trap of oh my God, I can't believe I did this to myself, I'm terrible, I'm horrible, I can't improve this until tomorrow. You can improve it. Just have a nice, healthy dinner, and if you need help, reach out and say, this is what happened, you can see my Fitness Pal, what do you think I should do for dinner? Right? It's not the end of the world, we're aiming for good enough, not perfection. Cool? Yeah? All right.
I don't see any questions, except Maggie said, donuts.
Maggie,
Gifford.
listen, no donuts. Okay, that's all I got for you, unless you
I was
have
surprised you didn't have a tip on Halloween candy coming up.
Oh, I can do that.
Well, this is a
Okay,
Halloween.
so, yes, sorry.
In the office especially.
I don't think of these things. I'm not a big candy person, believe it or not. But it's hard to eat. So, this is a tip I actually gave. Bring it into work to your coworkers you don't like. Bring it into the 20-year-olds at the gym who you also know can tolerate it. Send it off to kids in college, right? All these little tips and tricks. But something I think I said to, I think Lauren Davis made this comment, is she was like, what am I gonna do? I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I'm gonna have so many of them. Great. Program in a few this week, maybe program in 2 next week, and then get rid of the rest. Give yourself an allotment. Maybe that was what Brian Yobi was doing.